Hi, welcome back to my decorating series. This week we're going to be continuing in the peaceful meadow with finishing touches such as lights and foliage. So I'm really glad that I broke up decorating the meadow into 3 sections. The first section with the orchard and the farm really stressed me out. And I kind of was expecting to run into moments like that, if I'm being honest, just because, as my title, thumbnail, all of that will tell you, I don't consider myself a decorator. And I usually don't do a lot of decorating in the games that I play. I'll build very basic structures, or I'll just strip things out and put down just what I need. And so I knew I was going to get into overthinking. I knew I was going to run into just finding ways to stress myself out. If you don't struggle with that sort of thing, you probably can't relate very much to that. But for those who don't decorate a lot or want to decorate but then get stuck, you're the people that I'm probably talking to the most, because you're probably struggling with similar things that I am. So after the first week of getting stressed out in the meadow, the second week actually turned out a lot better, because I think part of it was because the stuff I was decorating, the stalls instead of the orchard and trees, are they both considered orchard? I still don't know. Is it bushes? Are they still an orchard? Anyway, once I got away from the practical stuff, it felt more like decorating inside the house again. So that was nice. But I also think another big factor was that I was allowing myself to take another week to do finishing touches. And I feel like if I start feeling stuck in future biomes, that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to say, okay, just do this part of it, and then just do the next part of it, and then finish it up. However much time I need to do that, however many different sections I need to divide the biome into, because I want a decorated valley. I want to be able to push my limits and see what I can accomplish and how it feels. Because I enjoyed doing it in the house, and I like going to pretty much every room in the house except for the rooms I just used for storage or my dream snaps room or whatever. I like going into all of those rooms and going, I did that and it's cute now. And if I never touch it again, then it will still be cute, you know, like even if I don't add new things or change things up or whatever, it's still cute. And so I want that for outside too. So I had been playing with this for a couple of weeks now, and not just playing around with like the decorating, but actually playing the game and figuring out what things were starting to frustrate me. One of the things that was frustrating me was access to the bushes. And so one of the first things I decided to do was tackle revamping that space a little bit. And clearing. The other thing I wanted to do was clear, because clearing is a regular gameplay activity in this game. There's always night thorns, there's always flowers and sticks and things that just drop resources everywhere. And so being able to get to stuff is really important to me, because gameplay is still my favorite thing. So I'm torn about the fence around the bushes. I really like how it looks, but there is a space on the outside of the fence line that actually spawns in like the basil and some flowers and things like that. So I was trying to put things in that space or give myself gaps to get through. I really didn't like how the gaps looked. I tried to put some lights. I was like, maybe if I can put some lights interspaced with the fencing, I'll like it better, and then I'll still be able to access that side. What I ended up doing was I put some trees, I put some lights, and I put some rocks back there. But I didn't want to fill it up completely with rocks, because I thought that might not look like, I don't know, might look like I was just trying to fill the space up instead of it like being designed. So I decided to go ahead and just do some of it, and we'll just see how it goes. I think a lot of my workout here is going to be do it and see how it goes, because over time I will eventually figure out what I don't like. I didn't like not having doors around the garden. I didn't actually put, well, they're not really doors, they're archways in the greenhouse walls. I didn't like being able to not get to the extras that pop out outside of the walls. Now, if you have little critters, they will run around, but if you get like the orange ones, they don't gather. You're the one who's responsible for getting out there, and it was really hard to get out there if they spawned out there. Anyway, I decided to add at least one more door to see if that helped. I also am really not enjoying the layout of the gardeners. It's not as efficient for me, and it is one of those tasks I do when I play in the morning before I go to work. I usually give myself some time to come in and pick and plant some pumpkins or give people gifts or whatever I'm doing, and it just makes that task take so much longer now that I think I am eventually going to switch it back to how I had it before, where it was more efficient. But for now, I'll just live with it because I'm not desperate for coins. And but if you see that change in future videos, or if you hang out in my live streams and notice that it's different, it's because I finally got sick enough of my gameplay being disrupted. Honestly, it looks cuter this way. That's what sucks about it, is like the practical side of me is like, but it's frustrating, but it looks cute, you know? So anyway, so every time I get stuck, now that I am tackling decorating the entire biome, I pop around. I pick a new bush to work with. I pick a new tree to work with. I pick a little chunk of ground to work with and address the things that still need to be done there. It feels too empty. It's not well lit. Whatever is still bugging me about the different spaces. And if I start to feel like, okay, I'm not quite sure what to do here, I'll just go grab something else to work on. And it really helps kind of bouncing around like this. It makes it more chaotic to watch because, you know, you're not living inside my brain knowing that this was the moment that I was getting frustrated or wasn't quite sure what to do next, or, well, what if I want to add a tree or a rock or a bush and it's in the way of this light or whatever. And so I just kind of keep bouncing around, but it's really helpful to me to, instead of sitting there and trying to fuss with something for too long, to just go grab a different thing to work on. So like the little ponds in there, picking a light for the farmer's market walkway, which these are some new lights from the Honeyglow Woods pack, and they're so stinking cute. They're not quite the same kind of string lights as is on the farmer's market buildings, but they are close. They are still in that kind of same string light vibe. So I definitely wanted to use those. I'm having to really restrain myself to use some of the objects because they're so pretty, and I have tons of space to decorate, so I don't need to cram everything I like into one space. I can spread the love around, you know. But I decided to keep my bushes and kind of other foliage gardening, trees, things like that, relatively simple. I think in the end, I only used the meadow bush, like I think they're called dwarf bushes, dwarf shrubs, and then a couple of the new ones from the Honeyglow Woods. I really like a lot of the aesthetic of that pack, so I have a feeling I'm going to have to restrain myself from using too much of it, but the little bushes felt a little bit more natural, a little bit more like, you know how parks are well maintained, but sometimes you can tell it's been a minute since they've come out and cleared some of the shrubbery or cleared some of the growth or mowed. I mean, the spaces are usually so big in a park, but I liked the fact that they looked like they were intentionally put down or intentionally maintained, but like might have overgrown a little bit, or like there was a little bit of long grass here and there. I really wanted the spaces in between the stuff that was like the orchard and the picnic area and all of that stuff to feel like it was a little bit more wild, not wild, but like a little bit more or a little bit less structured. I didn't want it to feel like a pattern. I wanted it to feel loose. And so after I figured out most of that stuff, I decided that the orchard still needed a little touch of something. Oh, I really wanted that hopscotch to work, but I didn't like it when I ran past it, so I think I'll have to put it somewhere else. But yeah, I wanted the orchard to feel a little bit more structured. I didn't like how open the back was facing the glade. And so yeah, just little fussins now, figuring out grass. At some point I'm going to start adding some rocks. But I didn't want it to feel like again, I think the best word is structured. I wanted it to feel like it could just be a little bit more organic. There's a better word. There we go. I figured out how to use different words. But I didn't want to add too much. I don't like things being too much in my way. But I did want it to feel a little bit more full, a little bit more, I don't know, loose. Rocks and bushes and grass make it feel a little bit more loose. All right, well, let's go over there and check it out. Honestly, I'm so happy to be done with the Meadow. There are some things that I didn't realize until after I was considering myself done that I feel like I might want to eventually go back and finish. But in the end, I don't expect to be like 100% satisfied by everything I do. I am such a gameplay person that it's really hard for me to kind of take a step back and just look at it through the lens of a decorator. And so when I move around, there are things that I notice or things that start to bother me and build up over time that I can't figure out just in the decorating phase. But because I took 3 weeks to work on this and kind of spread the love around of the decorating, I feel like I ended up with a better result than if I had tried to cram everything into just 2 videos, like 2 sections of here's the garden, here's the market. I liked the fact that the decorating phase helped me kind of look at the entire thing as a little bit more of a whole. Not that they have to go together, but like, okay, now I'm working on just the finishing touches. Whether or not the finishing touches in each section match or not is kind of irrelevant. For the market and garden stuff, I think it helped having like the same bushes and the same, you know, grass and stuff, because it made it feel like, you know, it was the nature part of things was what would be here. But if I move to other biomes where I want to make completely different spaces, I don't think I have to necessarily have that uniformity, but it really did work here in the Meadow for me. And of course, I'm still getting used to dealing with lighting. Lighting is so different to deal with outside. I don't think I've gotten it quite perfect yet, but it does make such a difference to look at it in, you know, the nighttime lighting and see what's going on. There's a lot of little lights on structures that I hadn't really fully registered. I mean, it's probably I looked at it and was like, oh, that's cute. And I've probably seen it in the dark. But, you know, when you're looking at it as, oh, how well lit is the space? It's different to be like, oh, I never really registered the fact that this little stall had some string lights on it or some little lanterns on it or whatever. So I didn't add as many lights as I had originally thought I might. Some of these spaces feel a little bit darker, and some of them, weirdly enough, feel a little bit brighter than I feel like I like. But especially in the market area, I really only added the string lights throughout it because most of the stalls had some kind of light on them. This little gazebo had lights. I don't know if I'd really ever registered that consciously, you know, like, so changing the lighting can really inform like what pieces you might be missing. Like, I feel like there might be some more lights to add in this space eventually, but the flower shop has lights, Beast's stall has lights, Kristoff's stall has a couple lanterns on it, and honestly, I'm kind of obsessed with those new string lights that we just got. Like, they're so pretty. I'm kind of surprised I didn't add more there, but in the end, I think making the choice to separate out the different things to do to decorate the Meadow fully really helped when I was starting to struggle. So if you find that you're getting overwhelmed, break it down to a piece. Like, even like the farmer's market side of things could have been broken down into 3 or 4 different sections that you tackled at different times. And with the new presets and group mode functionality they've added to the decorating, it allows you to be able to manipulate bigger pieces at a given moment. And so if you're trying to kind of puzzle it together, those new mechanics can really help as you work through the different decorating issues you might run into. That's it for today's decorating adventure. If you liked this video, a thumbs up is a great way to let me know, and a subscription will keep you up to date on my latest shenanigans. If you want to hang out with me live, I stream on YouTube and Twitch on Thursday evenings and middays on Sunday. I hope you have a lovely day, night, time, wherever you are, whenever you are. And I'll see you next time.